The one-year delay of the Tokyo Games brought a renewed love of surfing to Carissa Moore. Olympic gymnast Simone Biles' adoption shows the strength of family. Team USA fencer Curtis McDowell dedicates Olympic journey to his two moms. Is Tom Brady finally being himself? And he is funny. Phelps, Bolt and other retired famous Olympians not competing at Tokyo Games. Giannis and Bucks title win was more than just Lickery. Jones expects vast majority of Cowboys to get vaccinated. Are Nets favorites to win it all in 2022? Vegas thinks so. TJ Watt in the hot seat on which brother is best beach volleyball player. April Ross is seeking Olympic gold in Tokyo to complete her set. Olympic athletes reflect on calls for social justice. Protests at the Tokyo Games. The two flag bearers for the US at the Tokyo Olympics has been announced. Simone Biles is owning her GOAT status heading into the Tokyo Olympics. It just means more teams, apparently. Load Era 1 need not be Sherlock Holmes to connect the dots and conclude that the SEC's endgame is to be in position to maximize the number of teams it sends to the expanded playoff on a yearly basis, thus assuring itself as big a share of the revenue pie as possible. This raises a couple of questions. First, will it work? And then, how will the other conferences respond? The answer to both at this early juncture is, it depends. We'll address the first question first. Given the SEC's track record during the first 7 years of the 4-team playoff format, which includes 4 titles, 3 other championship game appearances and 1 All-SEC final, the conference is already in a solid position. Oklahoma, which has made 4 playoffs itself, would give the league another perennial candidate. Texas football would bring another large and passionate fan base under the SEC's umbrella, but the on-field product hasn't been at national championship caliber for the Longhorns since the mid-aughties. That could change with a new coaching staff starting this year, of course, but for now, the Sooners are the more valuable property for the SEC in regard to securing playoff slots. So how many can the league expect to get on an annual basis? It depends in part on what playoff framework is actually agreed to by all parties involved. Specifically, it hinges on whether some berths would be reserved for conference champions and how many. But even with 6 reserved berths for conference champions as currently proposed, the SEC could probably still count on claiming at least 3 of the 6 at-large bids every year. The committee's final rankings heading into last season's playoff had 4 current SEC members in the top 9, with Oklahoma at number 6, a total of 5 teams that would easily be in the top 12 in the league's future configuration. The 2020 season was atypical in many regards, of course, but the conference's overall strength can't really be disputed. It would also depend to an extent on the scheduling model the league institutes when the new teams join. Should the SEC stay with 2 divisions, it still seems likely a 9th league game would be added to maintain 2 crossover games for each team. The 10-game model necessitated by last year's COVID procedures isn't likely to be repeated, but it made clear that adding a conference game wouldn't hurt the league's playoff position. The one drawback for the SEC might be its championship game losing some of its value. It would naturally be beneficial for the winner, which would in all likelihood land a top 4 seed and a first-round bye in most years. But it might prove more advantageous for some teams safely in the top 12 to miss the league title game, instead using the week to rest and prepare for a first-round playoff game in which they'd probably be favored. So yes, the SEC should continue to be a major playoff player, even more so when the coming changes take hold. This brings us to question 2. What will other conferences do to stay relevant in this rapidly shifting landscape? They're not likely to stand pat, although bigger might not necessarily mean better in some cases. But even if berths are guaranteed for conference champs, the concept of the Power 5 as we know it today will likely be a thing of the past. Among the many moving parts in these considerations, of course, is what becomes of the Big 12 conference itself. Yes, Iowa State has a strong team right now, and Baylor, TCU and Texas Tech have had flashes. But without Oklahoma and Texas, the conference could struggle to produce a genuine playoff contender yearly, which could hurt its case for annual automatic inclusion to the playoff organizers. So would the 8 remaining members then try to make a go of it by adding new schools? Or will the Big 12 break up completely as the schools look to join other conferences? The former scenario could prove detrimental to the future of the American or the Mountain West, as we discussed last week. In the event the Big 12 does disband, there might be an opportunity for the Pac-12 to extend its reach. We're a long way from done here, folks. Let's just hope that when all the dust settles, college football still resembles something we can enjoy.